Hey guys, I'm Nick and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this delicious vegetable lovers pizza. I'm going to show you how to make the base. I'm going to show you how to make all of the veggies that are going to go on it. So delicious and crispy. I'm going to have a slice right now. I've already had a slice and we're going to start the video. Okay. Let's start with the base, obviously. So I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious pillowy base. Side note guys, I have been looking for a really good pizza base recipe for a good 6 months. So this is what I'm going to show you. These are my results. Very, very simple. Over here I have some lukewarm water. I basically just let my tap run until it got hot. It never gets to boiling on my tap. So it's not quite just like body temperature, but it's like a little bit warmer than that. So that's what you're looking for. Okay, so to this, we're gonna be adding some sugar. So let's pour the sugar in. I'm just gonna use a fork and just give that a good mix. And then here I have some instant dry yeast. We'll pop the yeast in there, give this a mix. We're gonna cover it. You can cover yours with Glad wrap or whatever plastic wrap. It's quite warm today, so I'm gonna pop this outside for 5 minutes. It's going to like positively balloon and it's gonna froth. And that's how you know that your yeast is good. If it doesn't froth, you either haven't used water that's warm enough or the yeast is dead. Yes, that happens. Rest in peace. So I'm gonna let this rise and froth and all that good stuff. It's gonna make our pizza base nice and fluffy. I'll be back. Okay, so Oscar and I spent 5 minutes together in the sunshine while I let this warm up and get frothy, and you can see that it has frothed up, so we know this is good yeast. Let's pop that aside. I want to show you how to get the dry ingredients ready. Today I'm going to be using bread flour. Now if you don't have bread flour, and bread flour basically is higher in gluten, so you get a nice chewier pizza dough, which is what I like. You can use all-purpose flour instead. That's completely fine, but I've got this, so I'm using that today. We're going to pop that in our mixing bowl. So today I'm using Peggy. If you don't have your own Peggy, you can do this by hand. I'm going to show you how to knead the dough by hand, but you're essentially following the same kind of method. So what we're actually doing right now is adding the flour in there along with the salt. You don't want to add the salt with the yeast because it'll kill the yeast. And I'm going to fit this with a dough hook, and we're just going to mix this to combine everything. Here is our frothy yeast, which kind of sounds gross, but anyway, we're going to be adding a little bit of olive oil to that, and we're just going to pour that straight in here. We're going to mix this on low speed to begin with until all of the dry ingredients are mixed in together. If you need to stop and scrape down, do that. And then we want to continue mixing this on speed number 2 for about 10 minutes. It's going to knead it for us. Once this is finished, I'll show you how to do it by hand. All right, so it's been 10 minutes. This dough is super duper smooth. Now, it is a little bit on the sticky side. That's completely fine. A wetter dough, I find, at least in my tests, many tests, it results in a bit of a lighter dough and it's a little bit more fluffy as it bakes. So what we're gonna do is, I need to wash my hands. I'm gonna do that now. This thing has a cover. You can just cover yours with plastic wrap. I am going to cover this with a towel again. Leave it in a warm spot outside. If it's cold where you are, you can turn your oven on the lowest heat setting. Preheat it for 10 minutes, turn it off and leave this in there. Just be careful you don't put it on a high heat. Otherwise you're gonna cook your dough and you don't wanna do that. It's gonna rise, it's gonna triple in size. And then I wanna come back and show you what to do before we get onto the veggies. Before we finish off the dough, I actually wanna show you the vegetables. So we've got all of our vegetables chopped up. I've got some sliced onions, sliced capsicum, and I've got some chopped broccolini. I've washed and dried all of these. So everything is ready to go. I've got some olive oil here. I'm just gonna pop that in. So I'm using a deep fry pan because it is quite a lot of vegetables to begin with. And then as it cooks, we're only cooking for a very short time as well. They do actually reduce a little bit. If you don't have a large fry pan, you can just do these ingredients one at a time and then just combine them in a bowl afterwards. So what we're gonna do is add our onion first. We're gonna cook that off for about 4 minutes until the onions are aromatic and a little bit translucent. Next, you want to cook your capsicum for about 5 minutes. You don't want this to cook too much or brown. It will brown and cook further in the oven like the rest of the vegetables. And lastly, we're gonna add our broccolini in there, and we're just gonna stir that and cook it for 5 minutes. You wanna add a little bit of garlic, minced garlic in there, along with some salt and pepper, and that's it, we're done. This has been rising for 2 hours. So you can see it's actually tripled in size, and all of those bubbles and all of that air that's in here, that's what's gonna give us that nice light pizza base. So let's pop this to the side because I'm just gonna add a little bit of flour on my workbench just so it doesn't stick to the workbench or to our hands. You just wanna rub it on your hands as well. So just encourage it out with your hands. Okay, so we're just gonna need this. We're not really it's just a little bit. And what we're gonna do after we knead it, and by the way, this is how you're gonna knead it. If you're doing this recipe without a stand mixer, you just grab one end, hold it with your hand, and then stretch like that and keep on doing that. That's how you're gonna knead it. So what we wanna do here is form a ball. Such a beautiful dough. I'm gonna grab my bench scraper and we're just gonna cut this in half. And with those two halves, we wanna form another dough, or another ball, sorry. Now guys, I should also mention that I've started preheating my oven to 200 degrees Celsius. My oven, I don't know about yours, but my oven takes a little while to heat up to that high temperature. So what we're gonna do here is once we've formed our ball, our dough balls, we are actually going to let these rise for another 30 minutes. Just be patient, it's going to be worth it. And the best way to let them rise, because we've basically taken them out of the bowl that they were in, is we're actually going to cover them with 2 bowls. So one large glass bowl, another large glass bowl. Let them rise for 30 minutes. I'll come back and show you what to do next. Hey Google, set a timer for 30 minutes. So this has been rising for 30 minutes and you can see it's kind of almost doubled in size. It's all about the fluffiness, guys. Today I'm going to be using a 12-inch pizza tin. Now this one has holes at the bottom which gets you a nice crispy base, but you don't have to use one like this. You can just use a regular one, or you could make a rectangle pizza and use a cookie sheet. Let's begin decorating our pizza by adding some delicious pizza sauce. Now, I made this pizza myself. It's very delicious. If you want to see me make a recipe video for this, please let me know in the comments down below. And if enough of you want it, I'll make a recipe video. You want to leave a little bit of space around the outside of the pizza. I'll come back and show you what we're going to do with that. Once you've spread out your tomato sauce, I like to grate some parmesan cheese on top of that just for some extra flavor. Then we're gonna add some veggies. Now you don't wanna overload your pizza with veggies, otherwise your base will go soggy. Spread those veggies around and then you're going to add some low moisture mozzarella cheese. This is different from fresh mozzarella cheese, which comes in liquid. This one won't leave little puddles of water on your pizza as it's baking, which causes the base to go soggy. Our pizza is looking ready to go in the oven. It's gonna bake there for 10 minutes. That's all it takes. And after 10 minutes, you're gonna slice it up and we're gonna do a taste test. I am so proud of myself. If someone had told me like 2 or 3 years ago that I was going to be making vegetable lovers pizzas on the Scran line, I would not believe them and I would commit them. I'm having so much fun actually making all this new stuff. I know that the longer I talk, the more this is going to beg to be eaten, so I'm going to slice it up. I like to slice my pizzas in 6 slices. So I slice it in half and then I just slice it in thirds. You know what? I'm not a fan of too much cheese on a pizza, so this is the perfect amount. And these veggies, they're still like really nice and crispy, but they're cooked of course, but they've still got like a crunch to them. Yum. Okay, we're gonna have this for dinner tonight. I'm gonna stop eating so I can finish up the video. If you guys want to grab the recipe for this delicious vegetable lovers pizza, vegetarian, but you can make it vegan if you like by adding vegan cheese on top, you can grab the recipe for that in the link down below. And if you want to see more recipes from me, I have some over there. Click over there. On top of the video is a subscribe button. Click on that and hit the bell icon so that you're notified as soon as there's a new video from me. Thank you so much for spending time with me in my kitchen, guys. I think I'm gonna just have one slice before dinner tonight, and I'll see you all on the next episode of the Scran line. Bye.